Hello everyone, this is Donnie aka Elevated with Dota Alchemy, and thank you for tuning in again today. Before we get into today's video, I just want to know what you guys think in the comment section below, what we're going to see and what you want to see in the next big patch, whether that's 7.20, 8.0, who really knows how big this next patch is going to be. But let us know in the comment section and give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that segues nicely into what I want to talk about in the video today. We've been on the same patch or a similar patch for quite some time now, and I think a lot of people are maybe feeling that it's a little bit stale and that we need some fairly big sweeping changes to shake up the game. At the same time, if you watch the competitive scene, you'll notice that there's a very wide variety of heroes that are situationally being picked up. And this leads us to believe that the game is pretty balanced right now, despite having a fairly stagnant playstyle. As is usually the case, we tend to see pubs and casual players tending towards the heroes that are being picked really consistently in the professional scene. So that's why we see so many Terrorblades and Phantom Lancers in our pubs. And frankly, seeing the same 2 or 3 heroes every single game is really boring. So in this video, we're going to talk about the top 3 underrated heroes that you should be picking right now to win pubs. Number 1, Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight is a hero that has never really seen a ton of popularity in pubs, and it's been a very situational pick in the professional scene for a long time. Recently, there have been a few teams like Team Serenity that have been running Chaos Knight with a massive amount of success, and I would go as far as to say that Chaos Knight fits into the same role as the last pick cheese heroes like Huskar, Broodmother, and Meepo. It's a hero that, if not specifically counterpicked against, can completely win the game by itself. And many of its strongest counters are not heroes that you often see picked in pubs, like Enigma, Medusa, and Brewmaster. In some senses, Chaos Knight is a little bit like Lycan, where you can kind of just play the game around a script. If you have your ultimate, you look to push towers, and if you don't have your ultimate, you hit creeps. However, Chaos Knight also has the added benefit of actually being a very good ganking hero, even without the ultimate. His naturally high mobility between a good base movement speed, the gap close of Reality Rift, a potentially very strong reliable stun, a crit, and a stat-heavy, high base damage build means that Chaos Knight is dangerous at all stages, regardless of whether he has his ultimate or not. And while he doesn't have any significant flash farming ability, he does come online very early. His item build usually revolves around Treads, Armlet, Echo Saber, Blink into either a BKB or a Heart, and this allows him to have pretty much just consistent ability to take fights over and over and over, which suits the very fight-heavy meta in pubs, where everybody just wants to run at each other until the game's over. Of the currently popular heroes, the only 2 that really give Chaos Knight problems are Phantom Lancer and Earthshaker. Earthshaker for obvious reasons, and PL simply because Chaos Knight doesn't deal that well with multiple units. That being said, that's what the ban phase is for. Because of how Blink Dagger works with Reality Rift being able to drag your illusions from super far away, even high mobility heroes like a Storm Spirit, Weaver, or even good disengage heroes like Centaur are still vulnerable to being caught by Chaos Knight. A Chaos Knight with BKB and Phantasm can basically manfight any hero in the game and is an absolute one-shot death sentence to any important but squishy support hero trying to stay out of the fight. I think that Chaos Knight is one of the easier to pull off trump picks that you can have in your hero pool, and if you find the right game, it's basically an auto win. I highly recommend that you spend a little bit of time learning to armlet toggle, although if you find yourself having to armlet toggle through fights, oftentimes you're playing the hero wrong. Hero number 2 is Enigma. Enigma is simply put the best team fighting hero in all of Dota. Whether it's used for an early game solo pickoff or a late game Refresher Shard Aghanims combo that wipes an entire team in a matter of seconds, Black Hole is the best teamfight spell in the game, period. With his talents and with this new style that a lot of pros are utilizing, Enigma is actually also one of the strongest pushing heroes in the game as well. Additionally, because of the way that denies function in Dota, Enigma's laning stage is also stupidly good. Because of demonic conversion, Enigma can continually keep the wave pulled back near his tower to farm safely, and can completely outlast, hit, and deny most heroes with his Eidolons and his hero combined. Despite the popularity and strength of the 2-1-2 meta, Enigma is one of those heroes that you can sometimes leave on his own in the off lane, and this allows you to win the other lanes as well because your supports can rotate and become dangerous on the map. At the same time, this gives you solo experience, and it's pretty common to see the safe laners 2 or 3 levels behind an Enigma, especially if he's able to block the pull camps before the lane starts. Helm of Dominator is an item that has kind of fallen off recently, but on Enigma it makes perfect sense because it synergizes so well with his Eidolons. The HP regen and attack speed make them much more difficult to kill, output a ton more damage, split earlier, and it also allows you to force the objectives around the catapult timing and make the other team choose between losing a tower or fighting into Black Hole. To further emphasize this pressuring, pushing playstyle, many professional players are prioritizing aura items like Pipe, Crimson Guard, and Mechanism, skipping the Blink Dagger until much later, and just getting an early BKB, which allows you to walk in and Black Hole a specific target or targets who are trying to defend towers that are being pushed. At the same time, the late game scaling Midas, Octarine, Aghanim's Refresher Shard BKB build is still completely relevant in situational games. Deciding which route to go is all about your current read on the game and what heroes you're playing against. If you want to run an early push Drow strategy, that will work. If you need Enigma to make space for your hard carry, that also works. And if you just need Enigma to win you the game with overwhelmingly strong team fight, you can do that too. Pure damage and BKB piercing disable is the ultimate equalizer in Dota. Whether you're facing a 75 armor, fully 6-slotted Terrorblade, or the seemingly unkillable Storm Spirit or Phantom Lancer, one clutch Black Hole is all you really need to win the game. And the final hero that I wanted to talk about is Sven. Sven is a hero who has fallen off pretty heavily since his glory days of being able to stack your own Ancients with Helm of Dominator, and find the space to just be able to farm for half an hour before deleting the enemy team in a matter of hits. However, if you look at the popular heroes right now, Sven is a direct counter to almost all of them. A mid or late game Sven provides enough burst damage to deal with heroes like Storm Spirit, Weaver, Terrorblade, Monkey King, and Necrophos, and his ability to wave clear is extremely useful against Phantom Lancer. Sven's defensive capabilities are also extremely useful because Warcry is very good against the popular physical damage heroes like Drow Ranger, Visage, Weaver, Monkey King, Ursa, and Riki. Sven is a hero that has gotten wave after wave of buffs, and if you actually look at Cleave, 1 point in it now gives you the same benefit as a Battle Fury. This means that you can freely max Stormbolt and Warcry to be a very dangerous and tanky early game team fighter. Factoring how strength now works with the increased magic resistance and HP regen amplification, God Strength not only gives Sven a bunch of damage, but allows him to take significantly more damage than he used to be able to. I also tend to think that his talent tree is underrated and one of the better talent trees in the game. The Mana Regeneration at level 10, plus one other Mana Regeneration item, whether you go for an Echo Saber for more burst damage, or you're running a more utility Sven, sometimes in the offlane or support role, with an urn or a drums, completely solves all of his mana issues. It allows you to use Stormbolt to farm or spam it in team fights. Speaking of Stormbolt, this has to be one of the best abilities in the entire game. If you include the talents, it has the ability to do a 2 or 3.25 second stun in a huge AoE, and it dispels, and it can be as low as a 7-second cooldown, which is basically 50% uptime as far as the stun goes. When they removed the Dispel from Diffusal Blade, being able to purge an enemy unit became one of the more valuable things that a hero can do. Traditional counters to Sven, like Ghost Scepter, Ghost Shroud, Pugda's Decrepify, or really important buffs like Klinx's Strafe or Ursa's Enrage, are all gone with the single press of a button. Sven does have a few weaknesses, I won't lie. A few heroes like Grimstroke, Tree, Bane, and Phoenix can be kind of difficult to deal with. However, with proper target selection, just a couple swipes of his massive sword will eliminate these weaknesses from the team fight every single time. I've also really been liking the versatility that picking Sven brings to games. If you need to burst heroes, Sven can do that. If you need Sven to simply just take a bunch of damage for your team and frontline, Sven can do that. Just build items like a pipe or Crimson Guard. Pairing that with Warcry and God Strength makes Sven soak an incredible amount of damage. He feels like a late game Pudge or a Centaur with these items and these abilities. And that means that you can fill multiple roles while also shoving out waves and decimating towers when you need to push. At this point, it really does feel like you can run Sven as a hard carry who takes advantage of the slower pace of Dota these days, or as a ganking, initiating hero, very similar to how Wraith King was before he was heavily nerfed, spamming your stun, jumping in, starting fights, making the other team go on you, and then punishing them for that by being really tanky and dishing out a ton of damage at the same time. So that's it, everyone. These are my 3 criminally underrated heroes in pubs right now. I highly recommend that you go check them out, experiment a little bit, see if you can win some games, see how they feel. Let me know what you think of this list in the comment section below, and we will see you in the next video. Good luck and have fun.